Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video is basically going to be about this cage I built using pallet wood. So all of this material is basically pallet wood except for the paneling, which are like the bars in the front, the roof, and the siding. So overall, basically what happened a couple of weeks back, my friend dropped off some pallet wood that he got from work, and he broke it down for me. And what I ended up doing is I took the pallet wood, the 2x4s, split them in half, made a couple of beams, and started to build this out. Now I started videoing it when I was doing the process, so I'm gonna attach that towards the end of this video. And so again, probably in those videos I'll be like, hey, welcome back to my video. And because I was planning on getting more work done, but I didn't get enough work done, and then it was just they're just small pieces kind of pieced together. So I apologize for the weird, I guess the weird layout of this video. But with that said, wanted to just talk about this real quick. Again, pallet wood, all material that I had laying around. Well, other than the pallet wood, but the paneling I had laying around, I had a bunch of old screws laying around. So I put this thing together. It didn't really cost me anything. The hinges, matter of fact, I had some hinges laying around. They're even mismatched. I had a set of hinges laying around that were 3 holes. Then I had a set of hinges that were laying around that was 2 holes. And next thing you know, I just ended up using different hinges. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's really just a temporary holding cage for whatever I get. And unless I wanted to use it to maybe put a breeding pair of pigeons in here, or breeding pair of something in here, I could do that as well, and get try to breed out more birds or whatnot, right? So a couple of different ideas on what to do with this. But with that said, just want to give you the breakdown of it. So all these beams here, the 2x2s, are basically 2x4s ripped in half from the pallet wood. All of this stuff is pallet wood. Even the screws, they're old decking screws I had laying around. Put some staples in. The chicken wire is old chicken wire I had laying around. And everyone's like, in previous videos, people are like, oh, you should have used hardware cloth. I could use hardware cloth. Matter of fact, I have some hardware cloth laying around. But I was going to throw this chicken wire out. But I was like, yeah, let me just stretch it and see if I could get good use out of it. And if you look at it, it's very taut. It's nice and taut on this. So not too worried about it. There's still a few things I need to do, like cut some pieces of panel and just kind of close this up so you don't see this unsightly stuff. But other than that, it is completely functional right now. There's some wiring in the back, which is hard metal, and then I got some panels on the side of it, and then I got a panel on the top of it. And this is another item I gotta do, is because this is really a side panel, so as water runs off, it's gonna get accumulated here. I gotta run a bead of silicone to prevent it from going here, and then I want to paint the whole thing so it just kind of flows through. So yeah, there's the roof. The roof is modular. If I wanted, I could take the whole roof off. Makes it easier for me to move. But also, if I wanted to change the height, or if I wanted to flatten it out, this does have a small pitch to it. So if I wanted to flatten this out, I could take there's a little beam underneath. I could remove it and kind of drop the roof down a little bit. So this was also, again, paneling. Actually, it was short, but with this cap that I put on, you really can't see how it was short. But I mean, not that it matters. It is, I guess, more cosmetically pleasing when it's in sequence. I do plan on painting it at some point. I haven't picked up any paint. That's probably going to add to some cost. On this side, the paneling, I ran out of paneling, so I ended up piecing it together. And there's a video of me taking this panel and cutting off the edge of it If you see, it's pretty rotted, and you know, it's a small, like, 30-second clip, and I'm just like, oh, look how rotted this is. But I'll give you an idea what shape some of this panel stuff was in. Again, it's just laying around. It was a part of an old shed. When I moved, I had taken it apart because they didn't want it, and I didn't want to throw it out. I was gonna try to repurpose it, but again, it sat around for a while, sat outside. It was already old. This paneling, if I had to guess, let's say this paneling is over 10 years old, but you know, honestly, it's structurally solid. I was able to stand on this, the top of it. So I think eventually what I'm going to do is put planters on top and then grow stuff on top of this. Um, and I might just build another frame out, right? So I build a frame out, and then I could pop planters in. I build a frame out, pop planters in it, and then you know, in the summertime, in the wintertime, I could just take the planters inside, or so I could restart the plants, or I could extend the season. I don't know, just random stuff. I do have bricks on the bottom to get it off the ground. But with that said, what I'm going to end up doing is laying um, a piece of, I guess, a log on the bottom, just to get rid of that gap. And then I plan on filling the inside with cedar mulch and straw anyway. So it's going to prevent anything. But most birds, they're not trying to squeeze through the bottom, except for maybe quail or something. But I am going to close it up. And even on these, on the sides and stuff, what I'm thinking of doing is running some chicken wire to the floor and across, and then burying the chicken wire. So if I get a raccoon or something, he starts digging, he's just going to hit chicken wire. So I do have a little bit left on this, which means I got to predator proof it, make sure it's good to go as far as you know, preventing predators from coming in. But overall, this particular area, maybe because my dog was living here or whatnot, there wasn't I haven't seen many predators. Now that I said that, probably start seeing them, but knock on wood, I haven't seen any real raccoons or possums hanging out here. With that said, there's also another beam I want to run over here, paneling beam. So basically, the paneling that I put going across the little paneling boards, that's in case I put a raptor in there. I don't want the raptor trying to jump out. So like, this is a pretty big gap. The raptor is going to feel comfortable trying to escape through this. Even with the chicken wire, it doesn't realize how strong the chicken wire is, so it's going to try to run through. But if it sees this and it's like, well, I can't really fit through here too easily, it's going to not try it. So as long as I run another beam, I could possibly put a raptor in there if I wanted to. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it last time. I'm a master falconer. I use birds of prey to hunt. So I'm thinking about maybe capturing a bird in the future and housing it temporarily here. I'll end up building a proper mew, which is 8 by 8 by 8, with a little flight area if I do end up deciding to keep raptors again. But yeah, so this is the mew, or the cage that was built out of pallet wood. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, please definitely leave me comments. You know, every time you guys leave comments, I learn from it, and it gives me an opportunity to build better stuff in the future, and hopefully the other individuals that are reading comments also benefit from it as well. With that said, you know, I'm trying to grow the channel. If you liked any of this content, definitely subscribe. If you liked it, like it, and if you know anyone else that could use it, that this could become useful for, definitely have share the video. Greatly appreciate you guys. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, I have little clips after this, which are while I was trying to build this. Nothing crazy, but this video might seem out of sequence because of those clips. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this up. Until next time, enjoy your day. Thank you so much, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. So today we're actually doing a project. So this is all pallet wood that a friend of mine got for me, and he found some pallets, broke them up, brought them to me. They're not bad pieces at all. They're pretty solid 2x4s. He ripped the nails out for me too, which makes my life easier. Some of them are crooked, some of them are like scraped away. But basically what I'm going to do is rip them in half so I have extra pieces, and then from there I'm going to build what they call a mew. A mew is what you keep birds of prey in. It's like a coop or a loft. It's just mew. I'm trying to build a mew for temporary holding, which just means if a bird is like, if a Cooper's hawk or a red-tailed hawk or something is constantly trying to kill my pigeons or pheasants or chickens or whatever, I was thinking of trapping them, training them, using them for hunting. Again, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm a master falconer, so I have permits and licensing to do all that. But I just want to build a small temporary one, so I could, if I get one, I could put it in there and then make a determination if I want to try to train the bird or not. It just gives me a holding space for a short window of time before I move them into a full-size mew. Normal mews are 8x8. I'm going to make something small. They normally call it a giant hood, but it's not really a hood because it's going to have ventilation and a door and everything. I mean, it's basically going to be like a good sized cage, just to hold them temporarily. Alright, so with that said, I'm going to take these 2x4s, I'm going to rip them in half. I'm probably going to make my structure 2 feet by 5 feet, split in the middle. This way, I don't want a lot of space, so when I'm trying to work with them, because they're wild, they're just going to fly all over and they could possibly injure themselves, so I need a smaller compartment, and generally we call it a giant hood, but this isn't a true traditional giant hood. Anyway, let me put this video on pause and let me rip these pieces up, start screwing them together, and show you what I'm starting to create. Alright, let me put it on pause. Alright, so this is what I came up with. Basically, it's a giant box, right? And this is all 2x4s that were ripped in half from the pallet wood. I put some corner structure to help round it off into 90 degrees because the wood's very warped. It's not going to be a true 90 degrees. So here's my structure. Basically, this is what the wood looked like after I ripped it in half, right? And then I'm going to use paneling board. I'm going to probably use the same board that I used on my kit boxes and my loft. I have a couple of pieces still left, so I want to use them up instead of having them go to waste. So I'm going to start with the roof first. I'm going to put a divider in the middle. Like I said, I want to divide the middle part here. This way I could actually have 2 boxes if I wanted, but I need the bird to stay in a smaller area, so when I'm taking it in and out, it's not bouncing around and damaging its wings and stuff like that. So again, I'm going to put the video on pause. I'll grab the panel, I'll throw it on top so you see what a roof looks like, and yeah, and then as I construct this, I'll keep adding to this video, and when it's done, I'll upload it. Alright, so let me put it on pause. So this is the smart paneling I had left over, and it's just smart paneling. Nothing, I didn't attach it or anything like that. And originally I was gonna lay it on the top just like this, except I'd put a piece of wood here so it's on an angle, so if there's any water, there's constant runoff. The only problem is that since it's smart paneling, it has these grooves which are going to hold water and eventually start to rot. So what I'm thinking is I just run a bead of silicone inside these and then paint the whole thing with, like, I don't know, Rubbermaid type, not Rubbermaid, some kind of paint which is water resistant. Not that the paint's water resistant, it forms a rubber coating. So I'll have silicone inside the groove, then the rubber coating, and this should become waterproof. And then basically I'll have it elevated so all the water kind of runs off. And then I might actually grow plants on top of this, so it's like a little garden, but underneath I got the birds of prey. So actually, I don't think I'm going to mess with this for the time being. I'm going to start to cut some of this panel, not this particular piece, but a different panel for the side pieces. And I want to run something, a support beam in the middle. And then because I want to put plants on this, I don't think it'll matter, but maybe I could add some support beams on top going across to hold the structure good. Okay, let me start with this, and then as it builds out, I'll take more video. So I'm trying to make the panel for the other wall, and look how rotted this is. Trying to salvage what I got left. Took the table saw, cut it off, and then I got this piece here, and I got this piece here. So I don't know. Between these three pieces, I'll be able to make that panel. But yeah, look how rotted this thing is. Whew. All right, time to get back to work. All right, here's a quick update on the Mew. So I framed it out. Basically what I'm thinking, there's gonna be two chambers. One's gonna be this chamber, one's gonna be this chamber over here. So I could actually separate, have two hawks going at the same time, or I could just remove the middle and just have one big area for a hawk. Depends on what I'm trying to work with and trying to do. Other than that, so I framed it all up. I got, you know, it's a pretty simple construction, just a bunch of sticks kind of screwed together. I put some corner support, which I showed last time, and then I was able to cut this board. It was kind of challenging because I had to rip it a few times. It wasn't actually big enough, so you can see it up here. It's not really big enough, but I'm gonna put a cap on here. So it'll be hidden, and you know, we won't really be able to see or tell if it's there. But honestly, it's just a temporary holding area. I don't want to spend too much time or money on this thing. Yeah, so this is the update. The next part, I gotta get I have some paneling, but I'm gonna have to piece it together for this side. Once that's done, then I'm gonna work on the roof, and then after the roof, I'm gonna do the doors. And that's kind of it, and then I'll figure out what kind of purchase. As you can tell, I tried to level the ground. Horrible job. It's just all over the place, but I do want to have this off the ground on some bricks, so I got to pick up some bricks. I think I have some bricks laying around the yard, so maybe I'll walk the yard first. Yeah, so this is basically a bunch of pallet wood that I split and chopped up, and then old paneling that I still have left. I still have that piece over there, which I'm gonna end up using for the roof. And yeah, so I'll give you more updates as I build stuff. All right.